Liam and I had been married for 8 years. From the outside looking in, we seemed like the perfect couple. We had a modest yet cozy home, steady jobs, and a quiet, predictable life. Friends would often comment on how lucky I was to have someone like Liam, reliable, kind, the quintessential good guy. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Our marriage wasn't unhappy, exactly. There were no screaming matches, no major betrayals, no devastating secrets. It was just empty. The spark we once had flickered out long ago. Conversations had become transactional, affection was rare, and intimacy felt like a chore rather than an act of love. I told myself this was normal, that every marriage hit a plateau. But the nagging sense of dissatisfaction never left me. One rainy Friday afternoon, I came home early from work. My sister, CLA, called me, her voice animated as she launched into yet another story about her boyfriend, Greg, and his endless list of flaws. She vented about his lack of ambition, his laziness, and his inability to commit. "I just don't know if he's the one," CLA said, exasperated. "How did you know Liam was the right person for you?" Her question caught me off guard. I hesitated, searching for the right words, but the silence stretched on. CLA laughed nervously. "Come on, don't tell me you have regrets too. Maybe it was the weight of the past few months pressing down on me, or maybe I just needed to say the words out loud, even if only once." "Sometimes," I admitted quietly. "Sometimes I think I do regret it." CLA fell silent, but I couldn't stop now. The floodgates had opened. "It's not that Liam is a bad husband. He's a good man. He's always treated me well. But I don't know if he's the one. I've been feeling like this for a while now, like maybe I settled because it seemed like the right thing to do." The words tasted bitter as I spoke them, but they were the truth. I look at my life, and it's fine. It's stable. But is fine enough? Is stability what I want for the rest of my life? I don't feel alive anymore. CLA sighed. "That's heavy, Emma. Have you talked to Liam about how you feel?" "I can't," I said quickly, almost defensively. "How do you tell someone you're not sure you'd marry them if you had the choice again? It would destroy him." A soft creak sounded behind me. My stomach dropped. "CLA, I have to go," I said hurriedly, hanging up. I turned around, my heart pounding. But the hallway was empty. I told myself it was just the house settling, but an uneasy feeling lingered the rest of the evening. Liam was unusually quiet that night. He avoided eye contact, gave curt answers, and didn't sit next to me on the couch like he usually did. I chalked it up to a bad day and gave him space. But over the next few days, his behavior grew even more distant. He left the house early, came back late, and barely spoke to me. When I asked if something was wrong, he brushed me off with a terse, "I'm fine." I tried convincing myself it was just a phase, that work was stressing him out. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. A week later, I came home to find Liam sitting in the kitchen, a stack of papers in front of him. His face was calm, but his eyes betrayed the storm beneath the surface. "Liam," I asked cautiously, "what's going on?" He slid the papers across the table. My hands trembled as I picked them up, my eyes scanning the words. "Divorce papers." I looked up at him, my voice barely above a whisper. "You're divorcing me?" Liam's jaw tightened. "I heard you, Emma," he said quietly. "Last week. On the phone with CLA." My breath caught in my throat. "I wasn't supposed to come home that early," he continued, "but I did. I stood there and listened to every word. You think you settled for me. You think I'm holding you back." He shook his head, his voice trembling with a mix of anger and pain. "You don't love me, Emma. Not the way I thought you did." "Liam, no." I cried, tears streaming down my face. "That's not what I meant. I was just venting. I didn't mean." "You meant it," he interrupted, his voice cold. "You might not have wanted me to hear it, but you meant it. And I can't stay in a marriage where I'm just someone you settled for." I begged him to reconsider, to go to therapy, to at least try to fix things. But his mind was made up. "I'm done, Emma," he said firmly. "I deserve someone who loves me completely. And you deserve to figure out what you really want." The next morning, he was gone. No note. No explanation. He didn't return my calls or texts. When I went to his office, his coworkers said he had taken a leave of absence. Weeks turned into months, and I still had no idea where he was. The divorce went through uncontested. Liam never reached out again. It was as if he had disappeared from my life entirely. Even now, years later, I can't think about that day without feeling a pang of regret. I thought I was just venting, that my words didn't mean anything. But words have power, and mine destroyed the one person who truly loved me. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder where Liam is. If he's happy. If he's found someone who loves him the way he deserves to be loved. And sometimes, I wonder if I made the biggest mistake of my life by letting him go.